Hello, I'm in Morecambe today by the sea, and I can see the mountains of the Lake District in the background across the bay. It's a very sunny day, but definitely a bit chilly as well from the sea breeze. So I've got lots of time to do some mapping here, but there are no OSM notes for me to fix. So what do I do? What do I look at? Well, it's a good question. I've looked around, and the town definitely needs some kind of map love. There's bits mapped, a few shops, but lots of them missing or out of date. I think even a number of the roads are one way, and they're not all mapped as one way, so I can do lots of that. But still, the question where to start. One thing I might look at is I sometimes look at Wiki Voyage, a place of things to do, things to see, but that's as good as OpenStreetMap here, so maybe I'll go to the Tourist Information Centre. That is mapped, and I've passed it already, so I can see things to do, and maybe I'll update Wiki Voyage as well. I noticed there's one OpenStreetMap user here that's very active, but they tend to pick like one or two buildings and map them, or a block, map it in loads of detail with the trees and the park and the like fences, but then the building after or the shops nearby doesn't look like they're mapped. So I might go nearby those areas, see if there's any reason they should be detailed map, but map nearby in that area, and just so kind of, I mean, it's each person to their own mapping style, but I think it will be good to focus on getting some more coverage here, and we'll see. But I'll wander. It's nice enough to just wander here, probably along the seafront, and then maybe some side roads will take my interest. But yeah, this is Morecambe. So a big example is here where I am now. The church hall, this block, and the houses next to it have been mapped in loads of detail. Across the road diagonally, St Patrick's Church has been mapped, and the houses individually mapped, and the substation mapped. So there's local knowledge here. I think a bit more than just aerial imagery and copying from that. The church, confusingly, is not mapped as a church, but a church area. It looks a bit run down, but there's still a sign saying they meet, so as far as I can tell, it's still a church building, so I might need to add amenity, place of worship. But then the house numbers, so they've done some numbers of the flats by the St John's Church Hall, but the houses next to the church building, no house numbers. There's about 12 house numbers there. I've walked, done them, didn't take me long, 2 minutes or so, tapping them into Keypad Mapper, and you realise there's a few A's there, like 12A and 20A, which are a bit confusing. So it's good to know that they do exist. It's not like every number has an A to go with it, but I'll map those and add that detail. And I'm going to continue walking around some of these roads, just a couple of blocks from the sea, from the waterfront. So I'll do some house numbers, but yeah, I'm not going to get them all done, so the local mapper can finish them off. So I did some house numbers, but I found it nicer to walk along the water's edge, along the promenade. Headed south, mapping lots of life rings and benches, a few slipways so you can get down to the rocks and the beach. and things like that. Just there's always bits of map. It's not too bad actually, Morecambe, the mapping, because plenty of shops and pubs dotted around have all been mapped. All by that one mapper, I think. He spent a few years doing lots of detail. I headed south and I ended up at the end of the promenade is Heysham Village. The hotel I'm staying at did recommend I go here, and actually this is quite nice. I should have gone straight here. I think I can probably map this in some detail with house names. I think the coffee shop's already mapped, but I might go and check that. And there's this little there's a churchyard and fields and these ruins of a chapel, which I thought all the paths have been mapped, but actually there's a lot of detail that could be added here. Lots of little paths to snake around the ruins. It'll be hard because GPS gets a bit funny because it's on a hill and it's very tight, so actually I think you'd rather want to draw down and maybe at least estimate how many meters between turns and things like that. I'll do my best, even with the assistance of aerial imagery. That's from a plane really high up, and the angles make it confusing because this is on a mound on a headland. But we'll see, and if not, nice to explore, and I can see the whole of Morecambe Bay here, which is a really nice view. So I've got to stop and tell you about this. I heard up there's the chapel and the church. I'd done the mapping of the paths around there and walking very slowly to tap in all the house numbers and name, long cottage names, and using keypad mapper for that, trying to add some detail to this village. Walked past in this place, which I've looked in. I think it's like a local village museum. On the window, hey, look at this. Look. It's got OpenStreetMap. Nice big, there's an A3 printout of it with some text to add some extra detail, I think. Yes, I'll help them out. I'll update it. Also got some points they've added of Heysham Village highlights. So maybe I should look at those things like the ship sculpture and the Royal Pub. Yes, I'll update the map. They might have to print another one, and it's they're sensible. They've got in the corner. They've made sure to add copyright OpenStreetMap contributors. So thank you, and hope you enjoy using the map.